Shedeur Sanders finally drafted, and I'm going to stand on it. I saw that my tweet from a few days ago saying Shedeur Sanders is going to be the best quarterback in this year's draft got like 27,000 views, which is just insane on Twitter. I've been getting blown up. Man, my mention's going crazy. I can't even keep up with it. I'm being memed. Not nearly to the extent that Shedeur Sanders has been done dirty. But hey, here's the deal. He's going to Cleveland. I hate Cleveland, man. I think Cleveland is a dumpster fire organization. But if there is anyone, right, to get Cleveland in a wonderful spot, it is Shedeur Sanders, man, because he's already done it at Jackson State and Colorado, man. He's built for just going to poverty programs. That's just what he's built for. So, but in all seriousness, welcoming all Buffs fans and, of course, Browns fans. We are going to be cheering for the Browns. This is hard for me, man, because I've been outspoken that I did not want, the Browns were like the one team I didn't want them to go to. But in the 5th round, you can't be picky. You can't. Strange to me how you go and draft Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, and now you're picking Shedeur, because I do believe he is the best quarterback in this year's draft. Like, I really do believe that. Obviously, NFL GMs think differently. Does that have to deal with him not having an agent? Probably. We could break that down at another point, but who cares, man? Let's talk about the fit in Cleveland, breaking down the roster, his fit, why I feel like he could be a really good fit in Kevin Stefanski's offense. Of course, y'all join the conversation in the chat. Be respectful. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe as well if you haven't done it. Let's get to it. First off, I got to say, I love the fact that the Oregon-Colorado rivalry continues to build with this quarterback room. You got Dillon Gabriel, who can't see over the line, but a Heisman finalist nonetheless, drafted in the 3rd round. Shedeur going at pick 144 in the 5th round. They say a 5th-round quarterback has never gotten a second contract. Come on now, man. It's time to go full Brady mode. But Shedeur, let's talk about the positives that he really brings to his game. It is the accuracy. It is the playmaking ability. It is the underrated athleticism, which is what he has. Like, no, he's not a statue in the pocket. Is he Lamar Jackson? No. But he is somebody that does have sneaky pocket escapability, scrambling ability. Browns fans, you're getting somebody who is never afraid or of faltering, right? He doesn't fade away in the biggest moments. He is a clutch player on the field. I believe that he is a guy that makes guys better. I think, hey, you guys have been through some tough ones with, Johnny Manziel, for instance, man. I think that obviously he's a way better prospect than freaking Johnny Manziel, from the offense that he's played in to what he has been through. He can handle the spotlight. He can handle anything thrown his way. That's why I've said during this process how I felt like he was built for New York City, because he could deal with the media, all the gossip. If there's falsities out there, right? There has been. He's dealt with those things, I think, really, really well. How has he handled the pre-draft process? I think that if he could probably go back and do things differently, he probably would. But again, that's for another video to dissect, and hopefully we'll get some more clarity instead of just rumors on what's really going on. But let's get into it, man. I think, man, Shedeur, he's a fantastic quarterback, man. And I'm saying, man, he's QB1 in this year's class. And a silver lining of him falling to this spot right now is, if there's any quarterback room that's absolutely wide open right now, it is a quarterback room that consists of Deshaun Watson, whose career is probably over in Cleveland with that Achilles tear, Joe Flacco, who signed for only $4 million, Kenny Pickett, who I think the Browns just did that to get an extra draft pick, right? Didn't they get a pick in swapping him and Dorian Thompson-Robinson? I don't think he has any real future on the team. And Dillon Gabriel. I think that, hey, when you look at Dillon Gabriel, definitely another accurate quarterback. a guy who spent a lot of time in college as well. But again, I think that Shedeur Sanders is just he's a better player. You put Dillon Gabriel on the Buffs, I don't think we touch 9 wins. No way. I just don't think so. But you got some interesting weapons here, and I'm honestly a really big fan of what Cleveland has been doing in the draft with a lot of the other picks outside of Dillon Gabriel. But Jerry Jeudy, didn't like him in Denver, but obviously he seemed to have a pretty great year in Cleveland this past year. Cedric Tillman is still another wide receiver that I like. I think that he's a sneaky good kind of sleeper in terms of just how he's talked about. And I know Kevin Stefanski has kind of had an up and down kind of tenure so far with the Browns coach, but I don't think he's incompetent. And I think that that's huge. When you look at some of the picks that they've made, Harold Fannin Jr. was one of my favorite tight ends coming into this year's draft with David Njoku. Shedeur's finally going to have some tight ends that he can hit. At running back, really interesting room with Quinshon Judkins and now Dylan Sampson, kind of a thunder and lightning type of duo there. Jerome Ford, sneaky guy too. Really love that. So they've made some fun picks on defense as well. Carson Sweshinger, Mason Graham, I think are really good players as well. So, Shedeur, he has his work cut out for him, man, going up not only as a 5th round pick, working his way into hopefully a starting role for the Browns, which I think he's capable, obviously, of doing. I'm standing on it. I still think he's the best quarterback in this year's draft, pound for pound. I just think that way. I think he's built for this. But playing in the AFC North, that is probably the toughest division in football, man. Honestly, man, it is an absolute gauntlet going up against teams, such as the Ravens and the Steelers. Man, it's going to be a tough division. But again, if there's any quarterback that is used to coming into not ideal situations and just elevating their team despite not having everything perfect around him, it is Shedeur Sanders. What are some of the things that I love about Shedeur? He has been somebody who, again, you hear about the interviews, whatever. I'm not a great interviewer either. I'm just not. But when you look at his play on the field, he represents everything you want in a quarterback. He's tough as nails. He's willing to stand in the pocket and take hits to hit the receivers. I think that he has great communication on the sidelines and in the game with the receivers throughout all the times that he took hits. Never once did you hear him blame the offensive line. Not once. He is a Buffalo Heart Award winner, guys, and that means something, man. He is tough as nails. And again, my understanding of him at CU, beloved by his teammates, man. Beloved by his teammates, a fantastic leader. And again, he's somebody who had elevated this team to 9 wins this year. Whereas you put a lot of other quarterbacks on this team, we're not sniffing bowl eligibility, man. That's even with, Travis Hunter, man. I'll go as far to say that. I love Travis, but 2-12 was a fantastic combination. And again, they elevated everybody around him. He's somebody who has played through broken bones, through fractured bones in his back, tough as nails, and you never hear him complain. I thought that in any press conference and anything that he's done after games with CU, he's done that very professionally. I think that, again, in terms of like who you want your quarterback to be, somebody who's not afraid to make big plays, somebody who doesn't shrink in the big moment, right? You can go back and look at so many of his, late game heroics at Jackson State and at CU. He's just somebody who does have that clutch gene. I believe in the clutch gene. There are guys who shrink in the biggest moments and then guys who elevate, and Shedeur is one of those guys. He's been clocked on the field at CU in game at running 20 miles an hour, man. So again, he's not somebody who's going to be rushing for uh, 600 yards or anything like that, but he does have pocket escapability. He does have uh, pocket maneuverability. Now, he does have some bad habits that maybe that is part of the reason of why he fell, because he can drift. He can hold on to the ball too long. However, this is not something that should deter, uh, a team from, selecting him and getting him out there on the field, right? Plenty of quarterbacks hold the ball too long. Cam Ward being one of them. Caleb Williams being another one as well. That is something that you do have to coach out of guys. So if he can improve that, um, and sometimes if he's getting hit, those good pocket habits can deteriorate a little bit. He can get into some of those bad habits, which is typical, right? I think that if he gets good offensive line play, he's going to be, somebody that I think still has a very, very high ceiling in the NFL. Um, and yeah, let me get back to the PFF stuff. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of all over the place, but you want to say, well, he doesn't have the arm strength. That's bullshit, man. They were saying the same thing about uh, Bo Nix last year. They were saying this. Some people were even saying that Michael Penix Jr. did not have the freaking arm strength. Like, come on, man, this is just ridiculous. But he actually did have the same numbers of attempts and completions downfield over 20 yards as Cam Ward did. Now, maybe it got there slightly later, but man, one thing that I feel like is very, very hard to teach at the NFL level is accuracy. He is accurate. Look at his intermediate grade, 92.8. He's not just a check down merchant. His deep grade, 94.8. Guys, and again, he will step up. He will hang in the pocket. He will take hits to make sure that he's making plays downfield. 73% completion percentage. I think that's one of the highest single season completion percentages in college football history. Some other guys that are right there around the top five, guys like Joe Burrow, Bo Nix. Yeah, so 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He had some rushing touchdowns as well. 6'2", 215 pounds. You're not going to have to worry about his, him not seeing over the line like you might see with a shorter guy like Kyler Murray or CJ Stroud. And honestly, I feel like that's a huge issue for Dillon Gabriel. Oregon had a fantastic offensive line, and that really did set him up for success. We'll see what he can do though. But man, this is very interesting. If you wanted to take Shedeur, I don't really understand why you take Dillon Gabriel, but and that makes me wonder, like, all right, who's making these different draft picks? Is this like an RG3 Kirk Cousins type of situation where the general manager wanted somebody and the head coach wanted somebody else, where the owner's getting involved? I'm not sure, but if Shedeur allows this situation to continue to motivate him, just as it has, other guys that have slipped in the NFL draft. I really do think that there's an opportunity for him to play early on, and to where, much like I know Dak Prescott fell in the 4th round. We can talk about Dak, but it's just like, man, he's better than a 4th round talent. No doubt about it. He's a 1st round talent. I think so. Cowboys fans might disagree, but they'd be complaining if Patrick Mahomes was on their team, man. Dak Prescott does a lot of great work for not a great roster around him. That's just my opinion on things. But yeah, like I think that he is built for this. And, if he allows this fall to motivate him, like Tom Brady's a different case. He wasn't, a projected 1st, 2nd round guy coming out, but obviously he felt so slighted being a 6th round pick, and that just motivated him every day to extract the most out of every day, making sure that he was the most prepared guy. And very talented quarterback, Drew Bledsoe. They forgot about him and moved on from him, man, for Tom Brady. So we'll see what Shedeur can do. But if I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, man, I'm much happier right now. That's how I would feel than drafting Dillon Gabriel. I think that he's got than just drafting Dillon Gabriel. Again, Shedeur's got the arm talent. He's got the accuracy. Let's pull up some of his um, passing depth numbers. I always find this stuff like pretty interesting. Look at this. Yeah, deep center. I mean, look at that. 14 of 23. 61% completion, 5 touchdowns, man. I mean, just throwing deep in general, 45% completion. Okay, that's, fine. Actually might be slightly on the higher end for some of these quarterbacks. 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. He did have some of these like bubble screens picked off, and that's because like he would kind of telegraph some of those throws. Again, I think that these are things that can be easily coached out. Like those are things again that you should not be freaking out about Shedeur with, man. He was killer in the intermediate game. Now there were some interceptions here, but ultimately, man, he really does take care of the ball. NFL passer rating is insane, in all the essentially all the quadrants, but I think that there isn't a throw in the NFL that he can't make. Does he have a huge gun? No, but that's not what's needed to have success. It's not a requirement to have success in the NFL. I don't think so. So we'll see. I mean, he's been comped all over the place. Some people say he's Teddy Bridgewater's. Some people say he's better than that. I think he's better than Teddy Bridgewater. Some people say he's the good version of Geno Smith. Well, Geno Smith is very good indoors. It's a little frustrating. Geno Smith or Shedeur didn't end up in a dome. He's going to have to play in the elements, but he is used to playing in the elements here at CU. Like that is one thing that he's used to. He's used to the cold. So I think he's going to be somebody that I think Clevelandites, if that's a word, or people in Ohio, man, you're going to see how tough he plays, man, in these games. Hopefully, once he gets that opportunity to start, and I think that he's going to be somebody that you guys can really, really rally behind. So, yeah, all that to say, man, I guess the Browns, man, they're gonna have to be one of my teams I root for right now. That's just gonna have to be how it is, man. As a Broncos fan, glad he's not a Raider. Definitely glad about that. And this quarterback room is wide open. So who cares about why they selected another quarterback ahead of him, right? Who cares about who called the shots, man? It's a results-oriented business, man. If Shedeur is the most prepared guy, if he is out playing these guys in practice, if he makes it undeniable that he's the best quarterback out of this group, he's going to get off on the field. And if he is not, then he won't play. That's really it. Because yeah, if he's that guy, you want to throw him out there, man, with the star power and all of that involved, man. So we'll see, man. I'm very happy for Shedeur. Again, I think this is a conversation for another video, but I've seen guys like Anthony Richardson and Johnny Manziel and Paxton Lynch, all these guys go in the first round. If Drew Rosenhaus, Lee Steinberg, somebody is representing him throughout this pre-draft process, they control the narrative, he's drafted much higher. No doubt about it. These interviews, there's no lying going on, anything like that, because these guys have relationships with players on these teams. And as much as that might frustrate some people to hear that are really big Shedeur fans, man, I think, again, it's always a risk, man, when you choose to forego representation. Sometimes it can shield you from some of these things happening. And again, Travis Hunter had representation. he was drafted where he should have been. So I think the Browns, man, obviously get fantastic value here. I'm excited to see where this goes moving on. But Shedeur, man, it's time to lock in. It's time to get to work. And I think that Browns fans, man, they're going to be pleasantly surprised, man. And again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, man. I have said Cleveland has been the one franchise I did not want Shedeur to go to, man. No way. No way. However, in the 5th round, you cannot be picky, man. And I'm thankful that the Cleveland Browns could see through all the other bullshit that these other teams could not. And I think Shedeur, hopefully, man, proves the franchise right in taking this selection on him, man. Again, he's every NFL draft analyst has said that, man. He should have been picked a long time ago. Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper, all these guys. Of course, Joel Klatt, Rich Eisen, all these guys, man, have said that, man. This fall just absolutely makes no sense. And there have been people that I think are very mean spirited that have just they got hate in their hearts that have just relished in seeing somebody embarrassed, man. Again, when I feel like he has represented CU so well. Again, some of the things I understand how they can be, like the jersey retirement and all that stuff, how that can be seen as if you don't follow Shedeur as closely as we do, how people on the outside might see that as like entitlement or ridiculous. But CU isn't in Power 4 football right now without him and Travis Hunter. That's just the reality of it, man. He means so much to this school. I have disagreed with the timing of it. And again, I think that is something that having an outside agent could have really helped with. Of just saying, hey, Rick George, everybody, you guys might be excited about this, but this is going to be bad optics, man. It's going to be bad optics for people on the outside, man. That's just how it's going to be. So, yeah, but all we can do now is move forward and root for Shedeur. We'll see how it all goes. And now, again, things are going to be interesting. Dillon Gabriel, Joe Flacco, all these guys. He doesn't necessarily have the pressure of playing early. If he needs to sit and learn certain things, that's totally fine too. But I do think, man, if this Brown season kind of goes, off the rails a little bit, I could definitely see him getting the opportunity to start here at some point. No doubt about it. Hey, don't forget, man, Dak was the starter his rookie year, man, as a 4th round pick. That had to do with some injury, but again, crazier things have happened. And again, when you turn on the tape, yeah, man, Shedeur has some bad habits, man. He has some bad habits, but the good qualities in his game far outweigh the negatives or concerns. And I'm very happy for him. I'm relieved for him moving forward. And at this point, I mean, this was really the one situation, maybe the Jets as well, to where he could be drafted on day 3 and still have a pretty quick path to playing time. Maybe the Saints could have been one, but because similar to the Saints, I guess, for last year, with Spencer Rattler drafted in the 5th round, he got some starts. Maybe something like that happens. So we'll have to see. But I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. Shedeur's the best quarterback in this class. He fell to the 5th round for various different reasons. I think some of that is on the NFL and some of their archaic ways. I think some of that is on Sanders' camp, whether you agree with it or not. I think it's a little bit of both, but I'm excited to see where this goes, man. I really am. And if there's anybody who can go into, again, Browns fans, I'm sorry, I'm just being candid, into like a poverty franchise and kind of dig them out of just sucking. He did it with my poverty program, Colorado Buffaloes, man. Yeah, he did it at Jackson State. So, he's used to ending up on sucky teams and helping them, elevate to new heights. And I think that and he's used to playing on teams that are not built perfectly. And I think that is a great quality to have. So I'll get to a few of your comments. You guys on the internet, a lot of y'all have been real, real mean, but yeah, man. Um, yeah, exactly, man. Paul Horn is saying that the most viewers of Shedeur will be these haters. They'll be the first to purchase tickets and turn on ESPN. Absolutely, man. And yeah, I had to call out some people that I knew personally, man, that just so man, it's just so strange how you're finding this so entertaining, but um you know, um then their tune changes once it's like, hey, I notice you're not doing it for these players. What's the deal, man? But yeah, people are just mentally ill. People are just mentally ill, man. Who's the next Bucks drafted? I'll go with Will Shepherd, but it very well could be Lejante Wester. I don't think it's given that any other Buffs are drafted. I think those guys got the best shot. Now Jimmy's 40 time. Maybe it helps him get drafted, but again, he's been somebody that has struggled to stay healthy and with a small frame, and so I see him kind of being more of an undrafted guy. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see where Shiloh goes as a UDFA, man. I would be okay with him coming out here to Denver as a UDFA, but obviously now Cleveland very well could be a destination. So Steelers, man. Yeah, I forgot about the Steelers. They are just um, what are they doing? What are they doing? Again, I'm not a fan of Arthur Smith. But again, at this point, you just can't be picky. And what are the Steelers doing, man? Mason Rudolph, really? Aaron Rodgers isn't a Steelers guy. And you saw like how they were working with Dwayne Haskins, obviously, but before he tragically passed. Um, could have been a really good situation for him, man. What are the Steelers doing, man? Yeah, hey, appreciate the love, Jason, saying this is absolutely ridiculous. Dude, this whole draft thing was ridiculous. And again, man, this is kind of my theory explaining his slide. Again, this is what happens when when the family is just representing, man, and especially somebody. It's to my understanding that Prime has his own agent. So why doesn't Shedeur? Um, hopefully this changes because I think it's very clear that Prime was getting certain feedback, all positive, from the different coaches and scouts that he was talking to. And there are teams that felt differently behind closed doors. They didn't want to give him the truth. That's just the truth of the matter at this point. And for whatever reason, maybe they were afraid he would say something or, make call. I don't know. But they have like this boogeyman perception of if you told them something negative, it would have come back on them. An agent would have helped mitigate all this. Sometimes it's good to have an outside guy being that buffer. It's why, in my opinion, Lamar Jackson fell from being a Heisman winner, a superstar at quarterback at Louisville. When you watch his tape, he can throw the ball. But again, represented by his family, almost falls out of the first round. But the Ravens could see through all the bullshit, right? But you saw without an agent, the media narratives on Lamar Jackson during his pre-draft period were insane. You had former NFL GMs talking about how this guy needs to move to running back and wide receiver and all these different things. And again, that's just the risk you take. I understand wanting to keep things in the family, but I think it's very clear that it does create some other difficulties. And I think a lot of this stuff, again, is totally avoided if you have some top tier representation just handling all this. I have way more confidence that they are getting the right information because if you're a top 10 pick, that's fine to not throw and practice at the Shrine Bowl. That's fine to not do any of the drills at the combine. Clearly, the information that they were getting was different than what teams were thinking behind closed doors, an agent would have gotten to the truth of things, I think, a lot quicker. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, man. But I'm very, very excited. Yeah, man. I'm sure Mel Kiper's like, what the heck is going on, man? Yeah. But I know that we're all big fans of Shedeur Sanders, and I'm not saying those things as I'm not trying to shit on the family. Like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to give you my take on things. I think, again, the NFL has some archaic ways. They got some shady things that they've done, obviously, in the past, Colin Kaepernick, whatnot. They have blood on their hands with this too. I mean, this whole thing was ridiculous, but I think that Sanders camp wasn't perfect either. Like, that's just how it is with this, man. So people do have hate in their heart, no doubt about it. And I'm just excited, man, for Shedeur. He can move past this. Again, when an agent is involved, there's no way his phone number, his draft phone number, is getting leaked to some random fan, college kid at Ole Miss, prank calling Shedeur. That came from the Giants camp somewhere because he's connected to Jackson Dart. There is no way those things do not happen. That's how I feel, man. If Drew Rosenhaus, freaking Rich Paul, somebody is handling this. Lee Steinberg. So we'll see what happens now moving forward, man. I'm just excited to see him get to work. And, man, the Chargers just picked Oronde Gadsden. No. Appreciate you guys. Browns fans, you got a great one, man. Best of luck. Go Buffs.